Good morning, guys. So, today we are back again at the Unbound Life, and we are going to discuss a very important topic of how do we actually, on the ground, start framing a blueprint or a framework in our minds of managing our withdrawal strategy. So, see, it takes years of hard work to build and accumulate a portfolio, right? Uh, how do we withdraw it without running out of money? So, too many people actually either end up spending a lot or withholding their retirement corpus in a manner that they are left with a lot. Even if you don't have the die with zero attitude, you would still want to either keep something towards the end of your life so that you can retire in comfort and peace. So let's get started on this topic and let's discuss why is this important, why managing withdrawals is crucial, and what are some common mistakes people make through the journey. So, what happens if you withdraw without a plan? Let's say you have rupees 1 crore saved and you decide to withdraw 10 lakh a year, and that might sound reasonable to some people, but the problem is that the money is going to go in, say, 10 years or 15 years because of inflation. So, which is why creating that framework in our minds is super important, and then understanding the different levers of what are the factors that are playing on my money: inflation, rate of return, your withdrawal rate, and where do I invest it in, is super critical. Okay, so what should be the starting goal? The starting goal should be creating a balanced withdrawal plan. Now, this definitely is not a one sized fit all kind of approach, but the entire idea here of this discussion is to be able to give people a framework to folks who have not even started thinking of that framework, right? So we will kind of try to work with that. All right, so how do we structure what we have earned in a manner that we are able to generate income and we are not even depleting the capital? That should be our original intent, and then at the same time some portion of it should be invested in a manner which enables us to grow the money as well, right? All right, so here is a structure of your portfolio for withdrawal. So we might or might not be aware that there is something called a bucket strategy, and bucketing is critical in order to create those inflation hedges as well as giving our portfolio the fillip that is required to be able to manage our cash flows effectively, at the same time managing our entire portfolio value, right? So there are different kinds of asset classes, and there should be a certain amount of percentage allocation to those different asset classes. And in this table what you see is a structure of that. It is a starting framework. You can obviously look at it and play around with it, but what I've created here is a larger chunk of allocation to fixed income to ensure basically the safety of your portfolio. This should generate good, stable, regular income. And what should be the withdrawal strategy? The withdrawal strategy should be to just withdraw the interest and dividends for monthly needs. This portion you should try to, not make growth a lever in this portion, but at the same time you should not even think of depleting this part of the portfolio. The next section is your dividend stocks and REITs, etc. I've shown 25%. It could be different from for someone else. This is going to again generate passive income through the dividends collected. So this is again, in a way, it's non-depleting sort of an asset, assuming that you hold it for a long time and your stocks keep growing. Then the next allocation is basically towards the growth assets with stability. We do not take anything from this, and maybe withdraw it only to adjust your capital gains whenever needed. I mean, you can do it annually. So that's the approach that we can take here. And then there are some inflation hedges like gold and commodities. So you can park some money here, and in a equity downturn, these should act as the balancing metric for your portfolio. So feel free to sort of take a look at this and think of it as you will sell it in very small portions only if the equities are not doing great, and you do not want to touch your equities. Suppose you're going through like a 2-year downturn or a 3-year downturn period and you don't want to sell any equity or stock, you can think of selling small portions from this. And I mean, I'm on purpose not diving into what should be the time frames of managing these buckets, etc., because this video is not really about the bucket strategy, but it's more about beginners who are thinking of starting their journey and they don't even understand how you would be thinking about structuring your investments during the accumulation phase, so that during decumulation you have this framework in mind that okay, yeah, these are the things that these are some considerations for growth, these are some considerations for dividends and regular income, etc., right? And just a bit on the bucket part. 2 years of your expenses should obviously be in cash and liquids, because that is something that then ensures immediate liquidity needs, right? Fantastic. So I hope this has given you a view of how to think about your investments. Remember that fixed income is the reliable source of paycheck, right? That keeps the monthly cash flow going. So there has to be a big enough fixed income allocation in your portfolio that is going to keep your monthly cash flow going. So for all those people who say that FDs are useless, they are not. Laddering is still something that is very, very important. We should always be focused on that, at least during the decumulation phase, when you are starting to take income from your assets and portfolio. So keep that in mind, and make sure that you are allocating a significant amount of your portfolio to these as well. While we spoke of the fixed income part, it's important to understand that there should be a significant portion of your investments in growth assets as well. We should not forget that ideally, in an Indian context, maybe about 50%, depending on your risk appetite, you have to park your money in growth assets. As illustrated in this graph, you see that rupees 100 over 30 years, you see the impact of inflation versus keeping that in an equity sort of product. And over 30 years, even if you calculate it at 8%, you see the difference there, right? So this is what happens to your money. Great. So how should we think of taxes in this situation, right? So we need to obviously, ensure that we have to minimize taxes on withdrawals. So the tax planning is a very critical part, and that needs to be done. So dividends and interest income needs to be managed in the most tax efficient manner. That should be the number one source of generating your income. You can also look at EPF, PPF, ELSS, and all your other capital gains up to 1.25 lakhs. You can make sure that you're withdrawing, you're efficiently tax harvesting, utilizing these tax-free capital gains, triple E status investments as your income. And then finally, if they are still not meeting your monthly income needs, annual income needs, then you start withdrawing some portion from your taxable income, right? Wonderful. So now let's look into a real sort of 2 crore portfolio illustration, and how the investment amount translates into an annual return roughly. This is surely post-tax for the fixed income part and the dividend part. So you would see that the investment amount is 2 crores here, and the annual return on the fixed income part, if you are calculating at a 7%, you can withdraw close to about 50,000, and then another 20,000 from your dividend stocks on an investment of 50 lakh, about 20,000, and then from mutual funds you're sort of getting on a post-tax basis maybe 8%, and then reinvesting 5% back. You're basically harvesting the tax here and withdrawing 3% from it, about 7,000-8,000 rupees. So that kind of creates your monthly a decent monthly cash flow on a 2 crore portfolio, right? While at the same time, this should the mutual fund part, since you're reinvesting, should also keep growing. You have your commodities as well, and your stocks keep growing, and your cash reserve should be just for emergency use, for any immediate needs, like you have to make a big purchase, you have to buy a car or a certain home appliance, these kinds of things. You park some money in your cash reserves. All right, fantastic. So what are some final thoughts? So if we withdraw smart, we should be able to create an effective and a very meaningful and stress-free retirement. So if we think deeply about these things and apply these frameworks, we are basically ensuring that our money is lasting us for decades and we are able to live a stress-free retirement. I hope this video was helpful, and if you think that someone will benefit from it, please feel free to share, like and subscribe to our channel, The Unbound Life, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.